Thank you very much, Stephen. We start here tonight. Shoprite has reported a double-digit headline earnings growth in its 2022 year. The group reported that its headline earnings per share increased by 22% in the year to July the 3rd. Africa's largest supermarket retailer says growth was largely driven by 117 new stores, its reward program, and a focus on using data to drive personalized sales and promotions. The Checkers division grew as well as the Shoprite and uSave divisions as well. Pieter Engelbrecht is the group CEO at Shoprite and he joins us now. Pieter, thank you very much, sir, for joining us this evening. The positive growth in the past year with some handsome dividend of 3.5 billion rands to shareholders has not come without its difficulties. We saw in the year from July last year, the July unrest, supply chain disruptions, inflationary pressures, load shedding, floods. How would you describe the past year in terms of your operations?
I would be not truthful if I say it wasn't challenging, but once again, acknowledgement to Team Shoprite for superior execution in difficult circumstances, especially during the social unrest, the riots, as you referred to. They came to the party, if I can say that. Some of the stores that were completely destroyed were reopened in 10 days. I didn't think that it was actually humanly possible. So Shoprite decided to go on to the build stage and not be part of the destruction that we saw. And I think that describes pretty much the year for the Shoprite Group. A lot of the numbers are record numbers in terms of revenue, in terms of market share gains in a single year. And very proud to say that we could maintain our gross profit margin and yet remain the lowest price retailer in the South African market.
The second quarter of this year has been quite a difficult period. We've seen already today the contraction in economic activity and inflation and interest rates rising. But when you look at your numbers, there was a 9.6% increase in group sales, equating to an additional 16 billion rands that was spent by customers over the period compared to 2021. How have you as a group supported the loyal customers in this difficult period?
I think the best number that I can quote here is that we have 24 million extra savings members, customers, and the extra discounts that they received during the year amounted to 9.4 billion rand, which is a huge number. And we can clearly see that customers are looking for value. And that's why our promotional participation in the basket has increased over this year. And I do not foresee that that will change in the year to come. Inflation has started to increase. We ended the year at 3.9%, but in July that accelerated to 7.2%. And our estimation is around a 10% inflation for the year.
How has inflation, when you look at your numbers, is it different in how it's been experienced by customers across the group throughout the continent?
Yeah, there's just maybe two things. The one is our internal, when we talk about inflation, it's our internal inflation. How we measure that is we take the current basket of what people are buying and then measure that what was the price last year, which is a bit different to national inflation, where it's a fixed basket. But yes, the unfortunate thing is that our most price-sensitive customers are being hurt the most by the highest inflation. So you see a higher inflation in the commodities, and therefore the uSave brand and the Shoprite brand has actually got a higher inflation than the Checkers brand.
Let's talk about the decision that you announced last week, turning a money market into a bank. When will this start, and what was the motivation behind this?
So we probably have to go back 5-6 years when we re-platformed the business in totality, and at the time we communicated to the market that gives us now the ability to build additional and alternate revenue products on top of our platform. And that's exactly what's happening now. Those products are maturing, and one of them is the money market bank account. So we launched it last year, as we call it, a soft launch, and now it's just been highlighted because it's got additional functionality that allows you to make third-party payments and EFT transfers, etc. So as long as you transact with that account in the ecosystem of our group, there are no transaction fees. And that for us is just another form of how we're going to give consumers better value and hopefully also give them motivation not to leave our environment and so for also save themselves money.
Before I let you go, I wanted to ask your thoughts about the contraction of the economic performance in the second quarter, your thoughts on how that has impacted on the group, and your thoughts on how we can expect economic to perform for the rest of the year.
So, firstly, I'm not an economist, but I'll give you my best attempt. Is that firstly, on Shoprite itself, I mean, we're planning to open 275 new stores this year. We keep on investing. Our capex investment this year is going to amount to 5.9 billion. We're also investing more into digital. There's a lot of customer data that can give us extra value in understanding consumer and consumer behavior better. In terms of the expectation or the economy itself, it was to be expected. If we look at the US and the UK economies, the governments gave big stimuli packages to those economies. That's why they see much higher inflation. And now have increased interest rates. We haven't seen that. We actually had damages of around 50 billion last year, so somewhere that had to come through in the economy. But in terms of what we deliver, we believe we deliver best value, lowest prices, and as long as we give that to our consumers, I believe that they will continue to support us.
Pieter Engelbrecht is the Group Chief Executive at Shoprite. Thank you very much for your time.